Earlier today, Eurozone manufacturing PMI data was released. I'm joined on the line with Sarah Boumphrey of Euromonitor to discuss her forecast for the outcome of this release. Sarah, welcome. According to a report by one of the world's leading consultancy groups, the UK is the lowest cost manufacturing economy of Western Europe. Despite this, analysts are split on whether that's entirely good news. What are your thoughts on this?
So the report found that when wages, labour productivity, energy costs and exchange rates are taken into account, the UK is the lowest cost manufacturing economy amongst major Western European economies. And the UK also has a flexible labour market and very low corporate tax rates, which is also helping it to win this position. So I think it is good news, and there's no doubt that the UK is benefiting from the trend of reshoring and nearshoring, which is to say the trend of basing production close to the end market or actually returning it to the home market. And this is one of the reasons for this is that globally transport costs are high, and also increasing political instability is curbing the appetite for risk. And this means that there'll be greater impetus for near and reshoring in the future. But it is possible to overstate the benefit that it could bring to the UK economy. And that's because manufacturing remains a relatively small sector in the UK. It contributes about 11% of GDP. The UK economy is dominated by the service sector. So employment in manufacturing is also low, and the impact on the labour market will probably not be substantial either. So all in all, it is good news, and all good news is welcome in the current climate, but I don't see it having a transformative effect on the economy.
Mario Draghi has said that the fundamentals for a weaker exchange rate are today much better than they were 2 or 3 months ago. A weaker exchange rate will make exports more attractive and make imports more expensive, boosting inflation locally. Do you agree with this outlook for the Eurozone economy?
Yes, Draghi has cited a number of factors for the euro's drop, and they include less capital flowing into the region, and also the expectations that the Fed will raise interest rates before the ECB. And I agree, it seems likely that the euro will remain weak, and that is, of course, good for exports, and it does make imports more costly. But whether or not this is enough to boost inflation is the real question. And July's annual rate of inflation in the Eurozone dropped down to 0.4%, way below the 2% target. The Eurozone recovery is anaemic at best, with growth in the second quarter stalling, and consumer demand is exceptionally weak. And an increase in demand is what's really needed to stimulate inflation. And to do this, structural reforms are needed to improve the currency bloc's competitiveness and to bring down unemployment. But these kinds of reforms aren't possible overnight, and the impact of them is only felt in the long term. So in my opinion, the weaker currency isn't enough on its own to push up inflation. Governments need to be looking closely at their reform agenda, and at the same time considering fiscal stimulus and even full-blown QE.
Last month's manufacturing PMI for the Eurozone matched that of the month before, both at 51.8. How did the outcome of today's data release reflect your preconceived forecast? And is your outlook for the coming month of Eurozone manufacturing optimistic or sceptical?
Today's flash manufacturing PMI for the Eurozone came in at 50.8 for August, and that's the weakest figure in 13 months. Anything above 50 does mean an expansion, but it's clearly a very feeble trend. And Germany and France, the Eurozone's two largest economies, who are responsible for 50% of manufacturing production in the currency bloc, both saw falls. I think the outlook for Eurozone manufacturing is mixed. It will be helped to some extent by the weak euro, but on the downside, increasing uncertainty stemming from the Ukraine crisis and political instability in the Middle East is dampening confidence. So on balance, I think the latter is the defining issue, and I'm not overly optimistic about the prospects for manufacturing in the coming months.
Well, that's all we've time for. Thank you, Sarah, for all your insights. Not all for now. Remember to continue to click back for updates on your trading week. Goodbye for now.